At least 27 people have been killed and 4 others wounded in a fresh attack in a Bay area by suspected Sudanese mercenaries. A South Sudanese activist in Khartoum says more than 60 South Sudanese prisoners sent to harvest sesame in Sudanese farm have been detained by Ethiopian agencies along the border. And a 22-year-old lady whose nose was mutilated by her boyfriend in Western Equatoria's Yambio town recently is appealing for financial help to seek medical treatment abroad. These stories and more coming to you in this news bulletin with me, Lugala Mulai. And now the news in detail. At least 27 people have been killed and 4 others wounded in fresh attack on Abyei area by suspected Sudanese mercenaries. The spokesperson of Abyei administrative area says the attack happened at around 3:30 p.m. yesterday. Ajak Deng says the assailants were heavily armed with others riding horses, attacked Madington and Kwolbol areas in the western side of Abyei. He says those killed during the attack are mainly elderly people. Deng apparently describes the situation on the ground as terrible, saying hundreds of civilians have been displaced as a result of violence. He was speaking to iRadio this morning.
Abyei is in a very terrible situation. Since yesterday, that was the second attack. It was consecutive 2 days. It happened on Saturday, and then yesterday was a tragic one. Militia group from suspected Syrian militia attacked the western side of Abyei at 3:30, and it has really affected the people. A lot of people have been killed, and 27 and wounded, 4 wounded. Elderly people, and no child among them, but there is elderly people among them, and there are civilians in western side of Abyei, Madington and Kolobon area.
According to Deng, upon the attack, the United Nations Interim Force for Abyei, or UNISFA, responded, though not instantly, to contain the situation. He called on UNISFA to live up to its responsibilities and mandate to effectively protect the civilians. A South Sudanese activist in Khartoum said more than 60 South Sudanese prisoners sent to harvest sesame in a Sudanese farm have been detained by Ethiopian agencies along the border. Achol Malong told iRadio the inmates detained were 86, but 19 of them, 16 men and 3 women, were released since last month. They were arrested in the Al-Fashoga region, a disputed area located on the Ethiopian-Sudanese border claimed by both countries. According to Achol, she thinks the Ethiopian forces mistook the prisoners for Sudanese forces, saying they had encroached on their territories. She said the 18 detainees are not being kept and treated as war prisoners. Achol now is calling on the South Sudanese government to intervene because she said the Ethiopian government is insisting that those South Sudanese prisoners are war prisoners or working as agents for the Sudanese government. Achol Malong spoke to iRadio this morning from Khartoum.
مساجين شالوا من المجلس الزراعي ماشيين يقطعوا في السوق لما بدأ مشاكل هناك بين السودان مع اثيوبيا قام وقع بكتينا بتاع السجين المشاكل 86 قام بضرب من 86 ده في 11 نفر ضرب في 19 فوق 16 راجل وثلاثه نسوان ده طلاب انا في مثل ما عملنا محاولات انا عملت محاولات كثير وما لقينا طريقه له يا ناس شغالين فيه عشان يقدر يسلموه للحكومه السودانيه عشان يجيبوا عشان هم قاموا رقم في السجن ده ما عنده علاقه مع الناس ولا عنده علاقه مع مشاكل ولا عنده علاقه مع ده وهم قاعدين يقولوا قال الحكومه الجنوب يجي يشيلوا قاعدين في السوبيا مع الناس مع قبض الناس.
There are reportedly hundreds of South Sudanese across Sudanese prisons since 2011 who have been convicted of different crimes there. The Vice President for Gender, Youth Cluster says public offices have been dominated by what she called elderly and selfish politicians depriving young people of job opportunities. Rebecca Nyangden made the remarks at the weekend ahead of the International Women's Day due tomorrow. According to her, the public offices have mostly been occupied by elderly people and politicians. And the youth, she said, who are supposed to build the nation have been sidelined. Nyandeng also accused the leaders of using young people to fight for their selfish interests, something she said is fueling the conflict in the country.
Now, now there are elderly people, and the young people are now are the one who are supposed to build this country. So, but we have not engaged them. And I have to be very clear about this. You go to the offices, it is elderly people with gray hair who are behind the tables. And the young people are just on the street. So we politicians, we are very selfish. We go and pick them when you are angry, and then you go and use them. So, but if we engage the youth, this conflict will not be there. So this is what we wanted to fight.
According to Nyandeng, over 70% of the country's population are youth, saying majority of them have been traumatized due to employment. She said our office is now considering launching a program that young people, including trauma healing and counseling.
And then at the same time, youth are also traumatized because they don't see hope. They don't see anything. So you find somebody like that without hope can be traumatized. So also we are fighting the war of trauma also. Within the projects that we are going to do, trauma counseling, trauma healing will be part and parcel of what we will be doing. So this, like now, I told our partners, we should be the one to select our beneficiaries, not them. It will be selected by us and them together, but we are not going to give them to be the one to select. So, and then this time we want regional representation in anything which is being done.
The governor of Western Bahr Ghazal state is calling on state citizens to desist from cutting of trees without planting more in the state. Trees can be windbreakers. They can prevent strong winds from destroying houses and properties. Sarah Cleto advised that whoever cuts a tree should replace that by planting another, citing the impact of climate change. Governor Cleto says this will help protect the environment and prevent climate change in long run.
We need really to do a lot in terms of environmental conservation. In our state, I know there's some activities that happen within the state, like cutting the trees and not planting trees. This one has impacted the climate in the future. What I'm doing is to keep raising awareness for people to work in terms of planting trees. We should not be cutting all the trees, and if you cut a tree, you plant another tree somewhere. People need to clear the forest or to clear the bushes for their homes, but also not to cut trees anyhow. As I know in areas like in Ju River, where people have been cutting even the lulu trees, and those lulu trees, these are really treasures of the state, and by cutting them, we are also losing resources, and this will also impact the climate.
Climate change is considered a long-term change in the average weather patterns. In South Sudan, experts say the impact of climate change is being witnessed by the extreme heat, drought and insect outbreaks. Major parts of the country witnessed serious flash floods in 2020 after months of drought. In June last year, President Salva Kiir also urged members of the public to fight against environmental degradation. He said the environment and the waters across the country have been polluted by unregulated human activities, notably the uncontrollable charcoal burning, partly contributing to climate change. Kiir admitted that the cutting of forest reserves is also a major problem, causing adverse environmental degradation in South Sudan. You are listening to IVE Radio News. And lastly, before moving to stories making headlines in the region and the international scene, a 22-year-old lady whose nose was mutilated by her boyfriend in Western Equatoria's Yambio town recently is appealing for financial help to seek medical treatment abroad. Najat Elizabeth Allison was in the company of 3 girls and 1 gentleman when the alleged boyfriend attacked her and beat her nose in a hotel in Yambio town. Following the incident, Elizabeth developed some complication related to injuries and was then transferred to Juba for further treatment. However, despite receiving treatment in Juba, her injuries continue to worsen. According to her, a Juba-based specialist for ear, nose and throat infections who assessed the condition has recommended she gets advanced treatment in Turkey. To get to Turkey for medication, Elizabeth needs $10,000. However, she said her family is unable to raise the money and she is now appealing to well-wishers to come to her rescue.
People are trying how at least we can get some contribution from friends and family out there, but things are not working out well still, and my situation is getting more worse because my nose seems to be like it's now rotting. So the support I was pleading out there is that people can really help me out, at least support financially. That's the most important thing right now, because saving life first is also something important, and I'm also seeking for my justice, because ever since this happened to me, this guy has been roaming around. So it's like as if he's just walking freely and no one is bothering to know what they can do to him.
When contacted by iRadio, the Deputy Commissioner of Yambio of Police in Western Equatoria State confirmed the incident. Major General Elia Costa Fastino said the suspect is on the run.
Yeah, we took our police investigation. We sent her to the hospital with from hate crime in the hospital here. They refer her to Juba for more treatment there. Then for us here, we managed to take investigation here, and we issue a warrant of arrest. The accused ran from Yambio here, so his whereabouts is not known for us. So we are still looking for him to arrest him.
That was Major General Elia Costa Fastino speaking to iRadio via phone from Yambio town yesterday. You are listening to iRadio News. And to end this bulletin, here is the headlines once again. At least 27 people have been killed and 4 others wounded in a fresh attack in Abyei area by suspected Sudanese Masria. And a South Sudanese activist in Khartoum says more than 60 South Sudanese prisoners sent to harvest simsim in a Sudanese farm have been detained by Ethiopian agencies along the border. And a 22-year-old lady whose nose was mutilated by her boyfriend in Western Equatoria's Yambio town recently is appealing for financial help to seek medical treatment abroad. That is the end of iRadio Afternoon News. You can get these stories and updates by subscribing to iRadio News Alert on your MTN South Sudan number. Call 700 or dial star 700 hash and follow the instructions. If there's a story or an event you'd like iRadio to cover or report about, please send us a text message on +211 912 986 986. It's also a WhatsApp number. Follow us on Twitter at iRadio Juba. Like our Facebook page, iRadio. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at iRadio South Sudan. You can also visit our website and listen to us online at www.iradio.org. Stay tuned for the news in Arabic at 1:30. I've been Lugala Mulai. Thanks for listening.